So I was watching some of my old videos and I stumbled across my Saw ranking and I realized, wow, I was an idiot. So we're going to be redoing that Saw ranking today because I just rewatched all the movies, so I can now re-rank the films. And this is a much less horrible list than my last one. So if you want to see what I said about those movies last time, go check out that video. Spoiler alert, it's one of the worst rankings I've ever seen in my life. So I don't even know what I was doing. Like I don't think I ever agreed with some of the things I said. So yeah, let's just get into this one. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, it's episode 9 of my Halloween Spooktacular, where I post 13 videos throughout the month of October, so we got 4 videos left after this one. Now let's get into it. Coming in at number 10, I have Jigsaw. Now, this movie could have been worse. I still don't think it's a horrible movie. It is fine, for the most part. Still my least favorite of the Saw movies by... Actually, not by far. There's some pretty bad ones, but this movie just doesn't make a lick of sense. I mean, you get a twist that is kind of ripped off from Saw 2, where it's like all of what you've been watching has taken place in the past, but there's just so many things that are stretched to the point of unbelievability in this one, to the point where when the twist happened, I was like, what? Like, that's what you're doing here? Like, you made us think it was a zombie John Kramer, and then now you're just like, no, guess what? That took place in the past, and this other guy is recreating it shot for shot and just doing the exact same thing right now for some reason. This is not only that, but this is the most boring Jigsaw apprentice. Like, okay, that guy, love that guy. That's such a good guy that you picked for the Jigsaw Apprentice. And not only that, I want to point something out. This movie makes you root for 2 characters throughout this movie. Logan and this lady in the main Saw trap. Those are the 2 worst people in the movie. Not only is it the literal Jigsaw Apprentice, but the woman that you're rooting for in the trap plot murdered her infant child and then blamed it on her husband, who then... That's who you're supposed to root for. I don't see a problem with that. I mean, who doesn't do that? Like, that's just a normal thing. So, I just went back and looked at some of my videos to figure out where I ranked these last time, and you'd be shocked to know I ranked Saw 3D at number 6. It's now at number 9. I understand that it's not good. Even a little bit. I have some fun with some of it, but for the rest of it, it's just completely unbelievable. Like, how did Hoffman have the time to set up this trap plot, or all these traps, while he's on the run? That makes no sense. And not only that, but this movie has 2 of the least deserving victims of 2 of the most horrific deaths in the series. Because the wife of Bobby Dagan not only was a victim of his lies, she didn't know that he wasn't in a Saw trap. She's just a completely innocent person who had done nothing wrong, yet her life is on the line this entire movie, and in the end, he tries a trap that everybody knows is impossible. Like, Jigsaw knows you physically can't do this, so he's like, okay, let's put him in this, because this is what he claimed to do, but if he doesn't do it, then we're gonna kill his wife in a brazen bull. And this is an impossible feat, because as you see in the movie, he doesn't do it. He tries, and he falls, and then the walls come up, and she's roasted alive in possibly the most horrific death of the entire series. The character who didn't do anything wrong besides get lied to by her husband. And then, you know how we've been spending the first 6 movies of this franchise wanting to see somebody finally get the reverse bear trap. We thought Hoffman was going to get it in the last movie, but he has a badass escape scene. So who do they put it on? The wife of Jigsaw, who is involved because she got a miscarriage. I genuinely, like, really? Last time I had Spiral at number 9. This time I have it at number 8. So it went up 1 spot. I still don't think it's all that good. I think it has the worst twist of the entire series. I think some of the twists are pretty bad in this franchise, but the fact that we have had this formula where we where Chris Rock stumbles across a body, then we see what happened to them in a flashback, and then we cut back. So then Chris Rock stumbles across the body of his partner, and then nothing. So we're just supposed to take the movie's word for it that that guy's dead. Look at me. I'm not gonna do that. That guy's the killer. And then, all of a sudden, oh my god! That guy was the killer! The guy that we didn't see die! Who would have thought? But besides the horrendous twist, this movie is just, like, the most prototypical Saw movie. Like, there is Chris Rock, who I think is funny in some scenes. I think he puts in his best in this, I guess. You got Samuel L. Jackson, who I always love to see. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. But otherwise, like, the traps are pretty basic. The stupid new puppet is horrible. It's a pig. And that stupid Jigsaw voice where he sounds like he's going to burst into tears the entire time.
Hello, Mr. McMurray. I want to play a game, but only if you want to, of course. But, like, I'd really appreciate it. Please? Please. I just want to play a game with you.
Like, it's just, I hate the voice, and I hate the puppet, so I hate Jigsaw in this movie, I hate the twist. I wish it could have been a little bit better, because it's so close to being very good. It's a very polished, good-looking movie, so I think it had potential, but I just think they squandered it. Coming in at number 7, one of my controversial takes from my last video that I stand by. The original Saw. Now, I had this movie actually lower in my last video, so if you... in my last video, I had this movie below Jigsaw and below Saw 3D, so, yeah. I think it's better than those ones, but that's about it. Like, I was rewatching this movie, and I was like, wow. This is awful. This is horrendous. Like, I get it. They made this movie for a microscopic budget, and this is a great concept, but the acting is horrid. Like, Cary Elwes, I don't know what he was doing in this movie, but he needs to get that figured out. Adam, played by Lee Winnell, love the guy as a director. Sorry, you're not an actor. So those two as our main characters, and both of them put in probably the worst performances of the entire series. And then we get the main cops. They're okay, but I think their plot and story is a bit boring and just confusing at some points. And then you get the part of the movie everybody remembers. Cary Elwes is hacking off his foot, and you don't really see anything because this movie is not as gory as you remember. And then you get the twist where, spoiler alert, Jigsaw reveals himself and stands up. Shocking moment. Also kind of like, who cares? So this was, I'll be honest. Let's set the scene, you know. I'm sitting there watching the movie for the first time. Don't know who Jigsaw is going to be, thinking that it's still Zepp. And then the guy stands up. Okay. Like, I get that it's a great twist and everybody loves it, but, like, we never met that guy. Like, who is that? We don't know. It's kind of like the twist in Friday the 13th, where it's like, oh, you. Who are you? Coming in at number 6. I'd say number 6, 5, 4, and 3 are, like, all around the same quality. It just comes down to, like, which ones I think I would prefer on this rewatch. So, number 6, I'm gonna go with Saw 4. And this was my dead last in the last videos.
Coming in at number 10, my least favorite of the Saw franchise is Saw 4.
So, I don't know what I was... I genuinely don't know what I was doing in that one, because I don't think I've ever thought this is the worst one. It's just okay. It's okay. It feels like a stepping stone in the story, because you have a pretty clear villain for the first 3. You have a pretty clear villain for 5, 6, 7. And it just feels like a stepping stone to bridge the gap between the first 3 and then 5, 6, 7. Because there's no villain. You just get a couple of traps with a good trap plot. Actually, you get some pretty good traps in this one. I don't want to say a couple of traps. You get some pretty good traps in this one. And then you get the reveal at the end that Hoffman is the Jigsaw apprentice. And again, it was kind of like a... okay, And like, how is that supposed to be a giant twist? We've met this guy one time. Um, and so I enjoy it. It's a solid Saw movie, but like I said, it just feels like more of a way to bridge the gap between Saw 3 and Saw 5, where, yeah, introduce a new Jigsaw apprentice so that you can keep the franchise going. Coming to number 5, halfway through the list, we have Saw 5. Now, this is just a coincidence that 5 ended up at 5, but I do really like. I do really like this movie. Not like it enough to have it at my number 1 past Ethan.
But my favorite Saw movie is going to Saw 5.
What the hell was I doing? It's, again, another passable Saw movie. You get a good concept with some good traps. You get a good central trap plot that doesn't really relate to the cop plot, but that's fine. Honestly, I don't really care that much. You get Hoffman. He's, still kind of undercover in this one. I am one of the few people on Earth that really likes Hoffman. I actually really like his movies. So, sorry, I do. I really like Hoffman. And I also really like Strom. I think he's the best main cop that we get throughout any of these movies, besides maybe Donnie Wahlberg in the second one. But otherwise, he's my favorite cop of the series. He's very good, very smart. There's some very good traps, some very good kills. I think the ending is super stupid, the way that he gets into the room, sees the glass coffin, listens to half of the tape, and it's like, you know what? I'm going to throw Hoffman into that glass coffin. If he would have just clicked play and listened to the rest of the tape, it would have said, if you don't get into the coffin, you will spend the rest of your life in this room. Your trap is to lay in a glass box filled with glass shards. You're going to cut up your back, but that's about the easiest Saw trap I think anybody could ever imagine. Like, that is the easiest trap of all time. So just lay down in there. But he doesn't, and Hoffman, of course, knows that he's not going to, so he walks into the room, he grabs Hoffman, throws him into the glass coffin, and Hoffman, of course, Hello Zep starts playing, and he starts lowering into the ground. So I think that's a great kill as well, the way the walls, constrict and then eventually crush him. So I think that's a good kill, but not a great ending. So I think it's good. I think it's a solid Saw movie, but I don't think it should get any higher than number 5. I rewatched my last video, and I only agreed on 2 placements, and one of them is Saw 6. I had it at number 4. I still have it at number 4. I'll be honest, when I was remembering these movies without having rewatched them, I kind of thought I liked this movie a lot more than I did. And I watched it, and yeah, it's just another passable Saw movie. Like, it's another Hoffman movie. You're starting to get him kind of in his insane era. He's kind of, more crazy in this one, doing more stuff. So I like that. I love the scene where he breaks out of the reverse bear trap. It's one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. You get Jill back in this one. I think she's a pretty good character. I think it has some very good traps. I don't really like in this one that not everybody has a chance of surviving because, I prefer the traps where, it's one person, they gotta cut off their arm, they gotta burn themselves, they gotta do something to themselves, but they can survive. I don't really like the traps where it's like, here's 2 people, pick which one dies. That does because you don't have a fair chance, because somebody's always going to die. So I don't really like all the traps in this one, because most of them are him just picking, you know what, do you want this person to die? You want this person to die? Make your choice. So I don't really like it, but I do like the ending where it eventually is that his life is put in the hands of somebody else, because that's what he does as a healthcare provider. He picks and chooses who he keeps the healthcare with. So eventually the family of someone he denied healthcare to gets to pick whether he lives or dies, kind of like he did with their dad and husband. So I do like that, and it leads to one of the goriest, most amazing kills in the entire series when he gets melted in half with hydrofluoric acid. So it's fantastic, but besides the ending, I do agree the traps kind of suck, because, it's like, oh, here's 5 people, you can save 2 of them, so 3 of them got to take a shotgun to the face. So don't really love the traps in this one, but I do think solid Saw movie, enjoyable. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Saw 3. Again, just a coincidence that the number happened to line up with the movie. This one I had at number 7 last time, which is shocking because I don't remember hating this movie, but for some reason when I made this video, I was in a bad mood, I guess. I don't know. I do agree. Jeff kind of sucks. He's kind of just like sleepwalking through all of these traps where he could have probably saved every single person if he had just not meandered the entire time. I get it. He wants to see them get what's coming to them because they were helping or responsible for some sort of way that his son was killed. So I get it. But also, like, if you're going to save him, get to it, my man, because she only has so long before she freezes to death, and that is one of the ones that pisses me off the most, because she just, like, he's eventually like, oh crap, I gotta save her. Well, you kind of wasted all of the time, because now she's practically frozen to the thing, and eventually, yeah, he doesn't save her. So I do think this has some very, very good traps in it. I think the rack is one of my favorite traps in the entire series. Such a hard to watch sequence, the way his limbs just slowly like twist around, and then eventually you know it's coming, but then his head gets twisted around. Such a good way to have this like central trap story make sense. These are all the people that were responsible for something in the death and trial of his son. So I really like that he's being tested with his forgiveness. He has to forgive the judge who gave the guy a limited sentence. He has to forgive the guy who accidentally hit his son with a car. He's got to forgive the witness who refused to testify, and all those things like that. So I do love the central trap plot. The ending is super confusing, and that's always my main complaint for it, but not too bad to ruin the entire movie. Still a very enjoyable Saw movie, and my favorite of like this middle chunk of the list. So my top two are definitely my two favorites. This middle half, I think I gave all of them like 3.5 stars. So this is my favorite of those. Coming in at number 2, I expected this one to actually move up to my number 1, but it stayed at my number 2. This is the only other one I agreed with from my last list. It's Saw X. Now, if you would have told me, or anybody for that matter, they were going to release the 10th Saw movie, and it would be considered widely as the second best or best Saw movie, I would have probably slapped you in the face and said, yeah, leave, because that is the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. But it is. It's one of the best Saw movies. I'm going to be honest. The first half of this movie, you could show to somebody who is very squeamish with gore, and they'd be fine with it, because it's just Jigsaw and him trying to save himself and trying to get rid of this cancer. So they successfully make you root for Jigsaw in this movie, because you see, despite that he's a terrible, horrific person who's definitely torturing people, he is human. We can kind of sympathize with Jigsaw, so they're more terrible than him. They're scam artists who take advantage of people's hope. So you want to see them get killed. You want to see Jigsaw do it to them. So the entire time you're kind of rooting for Jigsaw, and by the time you get to the end where they're in the blood-boarding trap and Jigsaw's strapped up to it, and you're like, okay, it's going to be him versus Amanda, so you could take the most blood. But then the crazy bitch goes outside, grabs a kid, straps him into it against Jigsaw, and the entire time Jigsaw is trying to keep the blood on him so that the kid doesn't have to, get drowned in blood. So you kind of start to sympathize with him also because, crazy bitch is twice as crazy as Jigsaw is, because he wouldn't put an innocent person in a trap. It was Hoffman that did it in Saw 3D, if you're wondering why I said that. But yeah, he wouldn't put an innocent person in a trap, so I mean, he kind of has morals there. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to justify why Jigsaw isn't a horrendous person and why I kind of root for him in this movie, but they successfully make you root for Jigsaw. It's a very good... The first half is actually like a good, beautiful movie, and then the second half you get all the Saw gory goodness that you want, so... very good Saw movie. Coming in at number 1, this I believe was my number 3 last time, but this time when I rewatched the series, it was my very clear number 1. It is going to be Saw 2. This is just a better version of the original in every single way. You get Jigsaw, he's ramped up to 11 the entire time, he's basically taunting Donnie Wahlberg the entire time, so you love to see their two interactions the entire movie. I think it's very good, the way Donnie Wahlberg is not wanting to listen to Jigsaw, and Jigsaw's like, no, you should really listen. Like, really, you should sit down. Really, you should wait. So I kind of like that. And then the twist at the end, I think there's like 3 twists in this movie, but at least the 2 main ones, that Amanda is in on it and that his son and that whole trap plot has taken place in the past. I think both of those are fantastic twists that work a lot more than the one from the original because, like I said, we don't know. We never met John Kramer in the original when he's revealed as the killer. We have met Amanda in the last movie, so when she's revealed as the killer, you're like, oh, there you go. That's how you do it. You gotta introduce the character first so that we know them when they're introduced. So, very good twists in this one. As I said, my favorite twist of the series. Also, some very good traps, and one of the hardest moments to watch in the entire series. If you want to know something about me, there's 2 ways to make me squeamish: bugs and needles. So let's just say it was a bit hard to watch the needle pit scene. I'm gonna be honest. I can't even look at myself when I'm getting a shot. So watching someone get thrown into a pit filled with hundreds of needles, whew, like, it genuinely gives me tingles down my spine just talking about it. This is just, overall, I think the best version of a Saw movie we're probably ever going to get. And that's going to be it for today's video. Remember, if you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. So, and you want to see more videos like it in the future, make sure to hit the bell notification to be notified when I post any brand new videos and the rest of my Halloween spooktacular. Make sure to stay tuned because I believe we have 4 or 5 more videos left to post, so I will be getting those out soon. And until next time, I'm Ethan Horror. This has been